I'm Travis Ivey, painted Crossing Sherman Hill. It was a really hard mural to paint. I'm not gonna lie. It was tough. It was similar to what I do when I'm painting on canvas, which is a lot smaller, but it was still the same kind of using bucket paint and brushes rather than aerosol paint. And so it took a long time, and it was really about the illusion of realism, having that light and shadow, everything being very believable and referencing the landscape. Since we were on Kearney, I believe, and it was just down the street from the railroad depot, they really liked the idea of having a train that kind of guided you down to that park and on Lincoln Printing. And I looked at some of these old, I think they're called seriographs, these old panoramic photographs that kind of would have a 180-degree view. And I went to, co-library and did a lot of research and found a lot of black and white photos of these panoramas. And Sherman Hill has so much history that most people now don't really know how hard it was for trains to get over that mountain right there. It was a pretty treacherous stretch of the Transcontinental Railroad. And so it was a big deal back then. And so I wanted to kind of memorialize that landscape and that effort it took to get, goods shipped over that pass. And I don't know, it's the landscape that I grew up playing in and painting, and just, those were like, Vita Vu and Blair Wallace and Ames Monument and all those areas up there. It's where I grew up, in high school, like exploring and playing and, having a good time. Funny story, I just had to paint the entire wall. I think I wiped off a lot of dirt, like did a little light washing and then primed it all one color. And at the same time, I was painting on this one little ladder, up and down, all the way across the wall. Across the street, there was like professional painters painting the building, and they were like so much more proficient than I was. And I was just envious watching them knock out an entire block of wall while I'm sitting here on my ladder doing little tiny areas just to prep it, to prime it before I paint it. So I would say probably getting the railroad tracks to like bend all the way across the wall and loop around and have it work, I think was the hardest part. And getting the perspective, the 1-point perspective on both ends. The tracks kind of making sure everything was true to that perspective while also being in a panorama, which you would never see the entire length of those tracks in one, spot up there in the mountains. So it was tough to imagine how that would work out.